Where do you think we're at right now? I mean, is it all AI all the time? How are you thinking about it?
We're at the precipice of the greatest moment in the history of enterprise software and of cloud computing. There's no question. I had a moment, I would say more than a decade ago, which I call my kind of AI freakout moment, where I really felt, but we all seen the movies, and like Peter Schwartz, who wrote or was a key part of writing Minority Report and also War Games, as our chief futurist at Salesforce. And more than a decade ago, I had this moment where I was like, okay, this is really happening, here we go. And bought a bunch of companies and put together Einstein. And Einstein has done amazing, it's doing trillion and a half transactions a week, predictive, generative. I really thought, okay, was going to be the moment. But now I'm really convinced that we are now really at the moment, right now, where enterprise software is going to be completely transformed with artificial intelligence. And we're going to see it. We really see a moment right now where we are 100% focused on one thing and one idea, and I can tell you why that is if you're interested, but it's AgentForce. And AgentForce is the most exciting thing I have ever worked on in my career. It's the culmination, really, of everything that we've done at Salesforce, because to make AgentForce really deliver, we had to have all of our customer touch points wired up, which we do. We have to have an amalgamated data cloud because we need the data, especially to achieve the AI accuracy, and the metadata as well. And we have to have the agents. It's these three layers that are really going to deliver this next generation of capability. And I was just with Disney last night, and Disney has AgentForce. They have the newest version, which we call Atlas, which is our most accurate, not just model, but we have an extremely unusual technique that we'll talk about. And Atlas delivers for Disney, for their cast members, which are their employees, through extremely complex problems that it's solving for them, more than 90% accuracy and almost no hallucinations. And in some cases, 95% accuracy and almost no hallucinations. And that idea that we can kind of come into a very difficult and complex and sophisticated data set. Now with Disney, if you go to DisneyStore.com, that's Salesforce. If you go to the Disney parks, do you still go to Disneyland?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, you ever get a Disney guide?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's great because you get to cut around the lines and all that. How many of you have done the Disney guides thing?
Yeah.
Oh, we got like a lot of poor people here, actually. Sad. Anyways, you get these Disney guides because they get you around the lines. So you got to do 30 rides a day, and it's much better than having to wait. Okay, but anyway, Disney guides run on Salesforce. They have Slack too. We do DisneyStore.com. We have Disney Plus because the service now fell over and we had to replace that inside the Disney Plus call center. We do the Disney cruises and the Disney real estate, and we have every Disney customer touch point all wired up. So the amalgamated data set that we have around Disney is awesome. So when we can take that Disney data set and then we apply Atlas and AgentForce,
okay, so how do you define?
We are able to deliver a level of accuracy that has been incredible.
What do you mean by agent? Because we're starting to hear this term a lot, but I think a lot of people here may not know what that means in the context of AI.
Yeah. Did you see the movie The Matrix?
Yes, I did. So are we talking about Agent Smith, or what are we talking about?
Well, we're at some level. I mean, I think I'll give you an example that, we're working with a large medical company not so far away from here, Kaiser. They've got 20 million patients. They have a super complex data set. They have all of the data from Epic. They are the largest Epic customer in the world. And more than 90% of all patient inquiries and scheduling requests and schedule my doctor, schedule my CT scan, my MRI, my this, my that, are being resolved by AgentForce and Atlas. That idea that we can resolve through a autonomous agent, a deep and complex customer interaction, is a breakthrough thought. Obviously, we have to do a few things to make it really work for our customers. Number one is it's got to be trusted, because our customers, we're running the largest banks, insurance companies, media companies, CPG companies, blah, 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 blah in the world. Number two is it's got to be easy for them. It can't be some separate team that they're going to spin up. It's their existing Salesforce team. It's happening within the Salesforce platform. It's got to be open. It has to be able to work with and interoperate with other systems. It's going to have to be multimodal, so it's going to have to speak to them and have voice and video and do all of those kind of incredible capabilities. And one other key thing, because evidently the humans have not gone away. The doctors have not gone away from Kaiser, and the cast members have not gone away from Disney, and on and on. So we're going to have to handshake seamlessly with our apps. So even though we have all these apps and we've wired up all these customer touch points, the agents are autonomously interacting with and building the data and metadata and extending it. And by the end of this month, we'll have more than 1,000 customers on our AgentForce platform. The efficiency and productivity that we've been had with AgentForce is like nothing I have ever seen with any of our customers or technology in the history of software. But there's a second point. It isn't just about this kind of ease of use. It's that they have the ability to do things that are truly astonishing, and that is also generate revenue. So they can go out and, like on a day like today, like it's 100 and something degrees outside, I don't know if you've been out there, it's pretty hot, and Disneyland may not be as full today as it's going to be, and they knew that was going to be true 2 days ago, that a heat wave was coming. Disney can proactively go out to their consumers and their customers and say, hey, come enjoy the heat with us all, Disneyland, and we're going to give you a special promotion or price or contest or whatever it is to come to Disneyland. So we want to be able to proactively go out and generate revenue, and we also want to be able to kind of bring that customer service in. You can use OpenTable to make restaurant reservations, and there's 160 million consumers on OpenTable. They're not in this room, but they're somewhere. And they've got also 60,000 restaurants, and they've got a lot of complex issues, in regard, I didn't get my table, or my food wasn't right, my potato didn't get cooked, whatever it is. These things are going to get worked out, but also all of a sudden the restaurant's like, oh, look, we're not as full tonight as we want to be, and we're willing to do, let's go out to our customer base and bring them in, but let's do it through a complex conversation, an empathic conversation as an agent with our customers. I think it's going to be a rocket ship.
Okay, so how long will it be until when you call a customer support center, you're talking to an AI that sounds like a human and you can't tell the difference? Are we there yet? Or
we're there yet. We are already at that point. We already have that live, and we will have that scaled for thousands of customers before the end of with thousands of customers live before the end of this year. And I just demoed it. I was just at a conference and spoke a couple miles away from here at KPMG, and we showed them that exact situation where, through, we used to call, this kind of voice response system, whatever, but you would kind of hit a wall pretty quickly with your bot, but these aren't bots. These are not the bots you're looking for. These are we're really getting to another level capability, and I think that it's pretty impressive. And I think in the example of Disney, Google has some great products. I know Sergey was here yesterday, and they've done a great job with AI, as you know. But in a head-to-head benchmark of Salesforce's AgentForce against Google's AI, we 2x them on accuracy. And the reason why is, we'll explain it next week. It's a couple of things. Not only is there our next-gen models, but it's also new techniques involving next-generation, retrieval augmented generation, RAG techniques that no one has seen before, and it's really incredible what's possible.
So you're kicking Google's ass. I'm cool with that.
Well, they're the partner also, customer, and I love them. But yeah, it's
okay,
competitive.
Well, let me keep building on, building on this.
We're trying to all make AI a little more accurate and a few less hallucinations along the way.
Let me give the audience a little update about something we just heard at OpenAI. They just did a day where they brought in a relatively small number of investors and kind of gave us all an update on their product roadmap. And it sounds kind of similar because everyone's moving in the same direction. So there were 3 big takeaways. Number one was that they said that LLMs would soon be at PhD level reasoning. Right now, it's more like a smart high schooler or college student in terms of the answers. We're going to be at the next level. Shortly behind that is agents, like you're talking about. And then third and closely related is that agents will have the ability to use tools. And a tool can be a website. So if you think about it now, you've got this LLM, it's really smart. It's got, it's like a PhD. You can give it an objective, It will break that objective into a list of tasks, and those tasks can include using other pieces of software. And thanks to things like OpenAI just launched the audio API, which developers can use. It's in private beta. We have some companies using it. The LLM can now basically pretend to be a human. And it won't be hard to find a piece of software to enable a phone call. So you can imagine telling a personal assistant agent that, and it could be OpenTable, that, hey, book me a dinner reservation at the grill. And it could place a phone call on your behalf and actually talk to the grill. It could also go on OpenTable and just use OpenTable and book it. But if for some reason that didn't work, it could literally place a phone call on your behalf, and the person picking up at OpenTable wouldn't even know that your agent actually isn't a human. It's an AI. But here's where I think it gets really crazy, is when the phone gets picked up on the other end, that could be an AI too pretending to be a human. So you could have two AIs pretend to be humans talking to each other and resolving tasks on your behalf. And I think that's where it's headed.
We're definitely moving in this direction, but there's a cautionary tale here. And I think that I'll just tell you the real world experience with my customers and the problems that I'm trying to solve for them. I think in the last few years, what we've kind of heard, and some of it has come from OpenAI, but especially from Microsoft, that we're in this co-pilot world, and these co-pilots have universally failed. The level of accuracy, the spillage of information, the lack of trusted environment, co-pilot has been a complete disaster. And that idea that this kind of amount of technology got released and sold into these very large customers, telling them that the promise of AI is here, but didn't do it in a trusted way, didn't do it with the level of accuracy, didn't do it with the level of security needed. And one of the things that was interesting, because I was with one of the customers trying to do this exact technique that you're talking about, which is a large telecommunications company in Seattle. And what this company did is take a model and
one
try
that
to...
we've heard of?
Nope.
Okay.
We're going to just tell you, training a model,
Okay.
retraining a model, building their own model. Mark, we have to have our own models. We're going to DIY it. We're going to DIY our AI, and it's going to be awesome. Then we're going to write our own agents, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, the other thing. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going through it and whatever, and then I'm like, now show me your benchmarks. And show me all these different pieces. And for them, it's a bit of a science project. And I've seen this now with a number of our customers, that they're kind of DIYing their AI. And, DIY, I think it's fine if you're like Neil Young and it's homegrown and it's Canada and it's, Ontario. But this is not what you should be doing with your artificial intelligence.
But what are you guys using as your foundation model? Is it Llama 2? Like, what do you guys use for your foundation?
We have a lot of our own models, our own techniques, and then we let you bring in the model that you want, but we are all about achieving your accuracy. Because what I've seen with these kind of approaches, especially the one that you just outlined, is that, you can get maybe 30 or 40% accuracy. In this case, this customer is 25%. You had somebody on the stage yesterday, I won't tell who it is a common friend of both of ours, who tried to take this approach for a large telecommunications company that he owns, and he said he was getting about a 25% accuracy with this homegrown model. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Instead, in our platform, the platform is building the model for you. You're not having to train and retrain your own models. You're building your own models in our platform, and we're going to deliver much higher levels of accuracy for you, and we're going to deliver AI. This is the AI that you want. This is this next generation of AI, and I think that we will have to prove that with benchmarks and with bake-offs and to show customers, because the promise is amazing. But at a very deep level, customers are going to need, what you and I have done for the last, 20 years of our life, which is build professional enterprise software and deliver it to them in a capability. And in regards to an agent running enterprise software, you just saw that was the fundamental business model of Adept, which was David Luan's company, and that he built GPT-3, then he left OpenAI to start Adept, and this idea to build agents that are going to drive apps. I'm sure that all of those things are going to happen. But again, you have to get to a level of accuracy, because everyone in this room and you and I, we've all had this experience where we're on these models and it's like, this is not really more than hallucinations. And that's no good, or as we say here in Los Angeles, no es bueno, when it comes to, Kaiser, and you're dealing with healthcare. When you're dealing with healthcare and you've got a patient and you're reading their medical records, you better be delivering more than 90 or 95% accuracy, because the 50% accuracy thing is no good.
Are you guys excited for the rise of agents? Yeah. It's going to be a really big deal. I think that everything we've seen so far with LLMs has been, again, about reasoning and generating. But with agents, the AI is going to be able to take actions. Yeah. And they're going to know how to use tools, which until now has been something only humans
I got to tell you a really good story, because you're like inspiring me around, Steve Jobs had a huge impact on my life. And I worked at Apple in 1984 when I was in high school and coming into college, and I was an assembly language program. I wrote the first native assembly language on this Macintosh, on the 68,000 assembler, and sitting there in the cubes, and Steve is running whatever it was. And thank God, I had this relationship and influenced me so much in my life, and then called me on a series of times, and after I started Salesforce, gave me really key advice. Anyway, it was 2010, and he calls me, come down here, I need to talk to you. I'm like, shit, what the hell, what did I do this time? So I go down there to his office, and I always bring a few Salesforce employees with me, and I've got some great folks with me. And we're sitting there, and he's like, I'm going to show you this. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And he brings out the iPad, and he's got two of them. He's got the big one and the small one. And he's like, yeah, Mark, here it is, but I don't like the small one. I'm only going to have one size, you know that. I'm like, yes, sir. And he's like, listen, I've been working on this concept for a long time. And, in 2007, I introduced iPhone. And, I said, thank you for sending me one. I love it. It's great. It's like, but do you know why now we're doing the iPad? I'm like, no, because I know you had that too in 2007. Oh, yeah, but you know what? The real situation here is at Apple. I'm like, what is it, Steve? He's like, we only have one A team here, one A team. So we're only focused on one thing at a time. And then he lays out like 5 or 6 products on his coffee table, and he goes, and we will never have more products than can fit on my coffee table. And I'm like, well, that's really awesome. And he's like, I've been focused on 2007 on the iPhone, and now I'm going to zero in, and I'm only going to do iPad. One focus at a time. Remember that, Mark. That's the way you need to run Salesforce. And I'm like, okay, is that why you brought me down here? Yes, you may go. And that's how I feel right now about AgentForce. This is all I am doing. Just try to take our company. We have a great company, $38 billion in revenue, 75,000 employees, hundreds of thousands of customers, and one focus, AgentForce. This is because of what you're saying. This is the moment. This is the greatest opportunity in the history of enterprise software, and it must be executed with absolute acuity and excellence. And that is what I think we all need to do.
What Elon mentioned that really stuck with me is he said that humanoid robots, the creation of these humanoid robots, are the biggest economic opportunity in the history of the world. The average person's...
Is he making some of them by any chance?
He is, but... Well, it's kind of like you saying that agents are the biggest opportunity in the history of enterprise software.
Let me write that down. Thank you for letting me know that.
It strikes me that there's something similar here, which is...
Elon is a good salesman. Is that your point?
Well, I'm saying there's an analogy here between...
He didn't give you the regenerative pitch. Is that my...
Well, no. The point is this, is that where we're going with AI is it's going to be able to take real actions. And in the case of Optimus, it's in the physical world, and it's going to be the brain for these humanoid robots. In the enterprise, it's basically the brain for these agents. I think these things are actually they're on parallel tracks. I wouldn't say they're competing. And
these are the droids you're looking for.
So I think that I think you're right about this opportunity. And what I'm saying is I think it's analogous to what Elon is seeing with robotics.
I think there's no question, and I think that for our customers, they're going to augment their employees. They're going to make things lower cost. They're going to increase their revenues. They're going to increase their margins. We're going to take some customers and just turn them into margin machines. And I think that the opportunity in the enterprise is unbelievable. He's also directly addressing the consumer market, which I think is very exciting. Obviously, he's an expert in that area. And yeah, we're about to move into this new world of AI, of droids, of all these things. And, it's a bunch of waves of, look, technology is getting lower cost and easier to use. It's a continuum. And we're all riding that continuum. This is extremely important. But also what's very important is, especially as we move into this, we all have to think about what are the values that are going to guide this technology? Because each of us have seen the movies. We all watch the movies. That was the one place where I got the hands to go up, right? So we know how it can go really wrong, right? Everybody saw that part of the movie. So what are the values? What's going to be really important to us? Will it be trust? Is it customer success? Is it innovation? Is it equality? Is it sustainability? What are the values as we kind of guide into the next level of the future? Because those core values that we need to manifest and really focus on, that is, I think, still out there as a major discussion item.
It's got to be figured out, and that is why we're very lucky that you are one of the great visionaries of our industry, because you're not just a great entrepreneur and CEO, but you're a great human being. So thank you, Marc. Thank you.